It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Happy Monday, March 23rd. How's everyone doing? You guys enjoying your Monday so far? I woke up this morning and Lance goes, "Happy Monday." And I go, "Don't even tell me. Don't even remind me." I love a weekend. I just love a weekend. I mean, I also like to work. I like the weekdays, but there's nothing worse than a Monday morning. Am I right? How is everyone doing? Thank you so much for supporting and watching and sharing and liking and subscribing, etc. I got so many lovely reviews over on Apple Podcasts because of you guys. I can read some in a second. And then also so many new subscribers here. Last night I did a Sky News Australia piece. I can show you a little bit of it in just a bit. And it's just been so fun talking to all these new people about this case, this Taylor Frankie Paul, plus so many other things. And got to mention Us Weekly today. We're going to get into all of it and more because I also want to talk about some other things. Savannah Guthrie, Kelly Osbourne. I want to talk about Kendra Duggar and Kelsey Fitzsimmons, because I've been spending the entire morning watching the trial that's happening right now in Massachusetts with corrupt cops. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Let's get into all of it and more. Thanks for hitting that subscribe and like. It's your daily dose of Donna. Thank you so much for being here, my friends. Okay, so where do I even start? Number one, I don't know where to start. I guess I can start by talking about the fact that I have workers like building some stuff out in my house. So there's a lot of like banging and drilling and sanding and everything. It's not in this room, obviously, but if you guys are hearing that, let me know. I mean, if you're hearing it, there's really nothing I can do about it. So I'm sorry, but that is what's happening. It's a little distracting for me. And my dogs are at doggy daycare because you can't have dogs in the house when you got a lot of other things going. You know how it goes. You know how it goes, right? Okay. So last night I did, I'm going to find it for you guys. I did Danika's show last night on Sky News. And I had no idea. Like, Sky News is so cool. I'm just like, I love hanging out with my Australian friends. We talked all about the whole, what's her name? Meghan Markle coming down there for Girls Weekend. We talked about a bunch of different things and it was really fun. So let me see if I can quickly pull up. I think she DM'd it to me and you can see just a small piece of what I talked to the Aussies about, and it was really fun. If you guys ever want me to hit up the local news in your country, town, just suggest it. Put my name, throw my name in the ring. Okay, hold on. I'm looking at Danika's. I'm trying to multitask because I'm trying to find Danika's. Here we go. She DM'd it to me last night. All right, let's watch one of them. This is about Taylor Frankie Paul. If you guys know, obviously, we're going to get into a little bit more of the Taylor Frankie Paul and the leaking. Oh, Molly's here. Donna, I'll never charge you $3,000 to hang out with me on Girls Weekend, maybe $1,000. I'm charging you to hang out with me. Okay, so don't worry about it. Here you go. This is my clip from last night. And I swear I'm not wearing the same tank top. It looks like I am, but in reality, I swear that was another tank top. I'm very upset about this. It looks like I don't wash my clothes. All right, let's watch it.
Now, look, we've got to talk about Meghan Markle. She's about to come to Australia. I don't know what we've done to deserve this, but she's said
Girls' night.
Girls' night. Yay, yay, woo, I can't wait. You will not be finding me anywhere near Meghan and Harry, let me say that. But she's said to be blaming everyone but herself for the collapse of her and Prince Harry's relationship with Netflix. Sources have told Radar Online. The perception is that rather than reassessing strategy, responsibility is being pushed outward, including onto Harry, which has complicated their working dynamic. And at the same time, Meghan and Harry have been savaged for their, quote, lack of talent. Who would have thought? I mean, they have no talent. What did they expect? I mean, did Meghan really think
She's
that selling
savage.
jam was going to win her favour?
The whole thing is so wild. I always say, Meghan, you know how some people say they have like the gold touch, like whatever they touch turns to gold. Meghan, whatever she touches turns to failure and trash. Like it's really unbelievable how many ventures she's tried to go through and she just can't pull it off. It's
Look, she's
interesting.
wearing my outfit too.
I got a candle from someone that worked at Netflix. And it was a Meghan Markle candle. It was one of her company's candles, and it didn't have a wick in it. It was missing a wick.
Oh,
you cannot
my
find a
God.
candle without a wick. And I went viral online because I posted about it, and everyone, you know, she has these fans that love her, and I don't know where they come from, but they are so obsessed and so defensive over her. And I got really, honestly, cyber bullied by talking about her. I'm like, this is what keeps her going, because these people, they enable her to kind of like, keep trying. But market research says you don't have the audience that wants to buy your products. They don't want to watch your shows. They don't want to buy your products. They don't really want to, you know, join your communities or anything. But she's continuing with this girls' weekend now. And wait, it's so interesting because I don't know, I'm sure you know this, that the two women that are involved in this girls' weekend or running it, they both have major, major problems too, financial issues and all kinds of things. So again, whatever she touches turns to crap.
Yeah, you're right about this weekend. Well, they're coming here. They're charging, Meghan's charging about 3,000 Aussie.
Anyway, go follow Sky News and Danica. She's adorable. I'm going to have her on my show. You know, we're international over here on Daily Dose of Donna. It's an international show. And I promise you it's a new tank top. This is ribbed. By the way, all my tank tops that I'm wearing, all the shirts and the sunglasses, I wore these sunglasses yesterday on a TikTok or on Instagram, and people were losing their, show me those sunglasses. So we're putting it all together. It's all on my Amazon storefront. You can buy it. I buy everything cheap. Okay. All right. So let's move on to talk about some of the big things. Taylor, Frankie Paul. What a weekend. What a weekend. Because I, in my mind, was convinced that Taylor, Frankie Paul was going to wake up Saturday and be like, what the fuck did I do? Nope. No. She did not. She did not. In fact, she woke up on Saturday and started posting. There was all these crazy videos and pictures of her out and about, smiling at the camera. And I even, you know, made a joke saying, I can't even get out of bed when I get a mean comment on Instagram, which is obviously not true because then I would really live in bed. And people were just in shock that I would go after her. You don't know what she's going through. She could be crying all day long and then just need to come out to get milk. Okay. Guys, stop gaslighting us. Stop gaslighting us. Taylor Frankie Paul, DGAF. You don't know what that means? It means don't give a fuck. Okay? She doesn't give a fudge. She is living in Delulu land over the crazy mess that she has created here. Now, there's two sides of the story because Bethany always kind of like triggers some thinking on the other side. And Bethany said, I'm sorry, they got what they paid for. They got what they wanted. ABC knew exactly what they were getting into here. And the only reason that they cut her is because they got found out with that video being released. But it was all there. It was all public information. Although I have to be honest, I never, ever thought it was as bad as the video showed me. Everyone's saying, this is an old incident. This happened in 2023. Okay. It's one thing to read about something and it's another thing to see it. When you see it, when you hear the kid, when you like all those things, it changes your perspective. You can listen to someone talk about an incident and then see it happen. It's very different. And so I understand why the public that knew all about this is getting a little bit, they have a different skewed image of her after seeing the video than before. Thank you so much, Jay, who's a member for 1 month. She don't give a fudge. She doesn't give a Rocky Road fudge. What's your favorite fudge? I love fudge. Like every time I think of fudge, I think of saltwater taffy. I think of being at a pier. Okay. So they are now trying to, you know, kind of mend their losses, ABC, and it's a major, major financial nightmare for ABC and for the production studio. Obviously, Hulu's probably saying, what the F do we do now? Although I think they're going to probably keep it going. I have no idea, but I just have a weird feeling that people are just going to grin and bear it. But the amount of anger and passion in the comment section over Taylor Frankie Paul, I talked about this in detail last night on Patreon. Thank you so much for all my Patreon subscribers about the anger and the hate that content creators like myself, Kate Casey, I'm thinking Kate because she and I have been texting about it all weekend, Zach, and I'm sure so many others are getting just because we're not backing Taylor Frankie Paul up. It's just so it's very well, it's basically like how I described it yesterday is that there's a section of people out there that I don't want to offend anyone, but welcome to my show. There's a section of people out there that are deniably anti-men. Okay? I think that we've seen a bunch of those when it comes to the Blake Lively story, when it came to the Amber Heard story, when it comes to a lot of these kinds of stories. It's immediately always believe the women. And I like it because I'm a woman. But I also feel like you always need to be able to look kind of like behind the layers, because just having boobs and women parts does not make you an honest, truthful person always. There's a lot of really bad women out there, Gemma Cape. Right? There's a lot of lying women out there. There's a lot of abusive women out there. There's a lot of mean women out there. They're all in my comment section, LOL. And so for me, thanks, Lara. I appreciate you, honey. For me, I feel like it's this whole generation or I don't want to call them feminists, because I believe you can be a feminist and also see things for reality. But it's kind of why I turned on Paige DeSorbo a little while ago. If you guys remember Paige DeSorbo when she was breaking up her genre, I don't want to say, I guess her niche for a while, and I don't really follow her anymore, so I don't know what she's doing every day. But her niche for a while was hating men, making fun of men on the Giggly Squad, constantly making fun of them in her confessionals. Like in Paige DeSorbo's brain, all men are dumb idiots. And some men are dumb idiots. Like, for example, when I talk about the Kelsey Fitzsimmons trial, like there are some really dumb men. But you cannot generalize an entire gender based on some idiots, because then all people are dumb if you do that, because how many bad women are there? How many? I've seen many documentaries about bad women. And so this need to immediately support and defend Taylor because you yourself possibly have been in an abusive relationship, or you yourself have been in a relationship with a narcissist, or you yourself have been in a relationship with a really manipulative person, which, by the way, I think Dakota is a manipulative person. I do. And narcissist, all those things, I'm sure. It shouldn't excuse this case, because I guarantee you right now, if I was on, and I said this on Friday, if I was on camera beating my boyfriend, husband, Lance, whoever, a man in my life, baby daddy, not even baby daddy yet, they were just boyfriend, girlfriend, multiple times with an inanimate object like a stool, multiple times, not once, not twice, 3 times. And then it hit little baby Oliver, who was 3 years old, on the couch. You guys would skewer me. You would never watch the show again. Rightfully so. You would be disgusted with me. So why are we choosing to just kind of like overlook that? Because she had a bad situation. That's how Taylor Frankie Paul is able to continue to get away with everything she does. In addition to talking to those people in her life, like her mom, I'm not saying her mom's perfect either, But she's not a very nice person to people. Like, she's kind of a hot mess, right? And then in this moment now, she gets caught. It's a rock bottom situation because I think that if I get my entire career basically pulled from me within 24 hours, my entire show of The Bachelorette pulled, the network freaking out over it, all the girls kind of not really having my back, at least not publicly, losing my son until minimal April 7th, restraining order, broke probation, potential lawsuits, all of these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, 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 bam. Sure as hell, I won't be walking around where paparazzi are intentionally following her with a smile on my face, wearing, out of all my sweatshirts, a sweatshirt from Nod Pod that says, I'll sleep. What was it? Because I just bought a Nod Pod and I have this sticker too. And it's actually a really cute little logo, but it says, can't wait to sleep with you. It's your Nod Pod like logo. So unless Nod Pod said, walk outside with our sweatshirt for $100,000 today, that would be the only reason to choose a sweatshirt that says, can't wait to sleep with you, on the day after she loses her son, gets a restraining order, and loses her job on The Bachelor. Nothing makes sense. And I can't, like, you can give someone a little bit of leeway. We have given her a little leeway, but at some point you're like, wait, honestly, she's just young. And I'm just going to be honest. I think she's like a young, dumb, entitled 20-something-year-old girl who hasn't grown up, who's like in the teen mom category. She just hasn't grown up because she's all over social media and she's not letting up. She is posting, she's commenting, she's reposting, she's being sarcastic. What else did she do? She said, do you expect me to stare at the wall? Okay, she's defending her own social media activity by one social media user said, I'm begging you to get off your phone, and saying, like, why are you commenting back to people and reposting TikToks? I would say her team should take her phone away from her, but no, she's literally reposting TikToks that are in support of her, and she's commenting back to people on Instagram. And she responded saying, want me to stare at the wall instead? I'm always on my phone. It's my job. I still have to work. Sorry, you don't have a job right now. You've lost all your jobs. There's no work to be done when you are at the bottom of the bottom in terms of likability. Because those women that are protecting her and defending her, I would never want them around my kids, I'm being honest. If you are out there defending Taylor, full stop, I don't want you around my kids ever. And maybe we should like check on what's going on in your house. Honestly. It's like when men defend abusers. If a man defends another man abuser, I'm going to assume that man abuses because he thinks there's nothing wrong with this. So it's really a weird situation to see her live spiral. And then I thought yesterday, like, okay, surely it's going to hit her now. Now it's been 48 hours. It's going to hit her. Nope. And I don't know what she's doing today, but I would think at some point she's going to have a moment where it's going to hit the fuck out of her. Sorry for cursing, but it's going to hit her so hard that she's not going to know which way is up. And that's my hope, you know? And I don't know. I just think that it's one thing to defend her for her actions of being in an emotional turmoil with Dakota, struggling, being addicted to him, having a toxic relationship. That to me is defensible, fully. But throwing stools in that kind of capacity that hit your kid, that is indefensible whatsoever, in my opinion. And if you guys disagree with that, then, you know, I really don't know what to say. Like, I'm sorry, we just have different opinions on that. It's really, it's interesting. TX Carol says it was like watching Kelly Wolf. It's like you kind of can't stop watching, but you know that you're seeing this like unhealthy situation happen. And her kids now, I want to say the daughter is like 7, and then the son is maybe 5, and then the baby Ever is 3. These are kids that are going to grow up and see all of this play out. That to me would be my biggest nightmare as a mom. I don't even want my kids to know that I, sometimes smoke a cigarette when I have drinks, right? Like, I don't want them to know surface stupid things. But now I'm going to, it's like, it's so bad for your kids down the line to know all this. That video getting released would take me apart solely because I would know that my kids would grow up and have to see that or would see that. It would take me apart. Okay. We'll have to see what happens with her. Now, meanwhile, in Mormon Wives land, we have some other stories because Miranda from Mormon Wives responded to my reel. And if you guys remember, I posted about my theory on who leaked the video. Now I take it back because I'm assuming she wouldn't have commented unless she's telling the truth. So let me pull it up. It's been all over E! News, Us Weekly, People. Like, it's been kind of everywhere, which is really fun for me. I love when I have a press mention. That doesn't happen that often in like an Us Weekly. So I love that. Us Weekly said, I'm an influencer, by the way. So right now, you guys, you're not watching a podcaster. You're watching an influencer. Are you influenced? Here is the post where they talk about it. In an Instagram video, influencer Donna Bowling speculated that one of Taylor's Mormon Wives co-stars released the video to TMZ and pointed fingers at Miranda, who she alleged has been emotionally attacked by Taylor multiple times. Donna further noted that Miranda was one of the first ones who spoke out about the video on social media. I mean, it's not a bad theory if you think about it, because in reality, if anyone leaked the video, I would have never pointed it to the women until I heard about that leaked Zoom call, on that NBC leaked Zoom call, which basically said that one of the women, they're not saying who, basically said, why are you continuing to pretend that this is not a real thing? Have you seen the video? So if a woman says that, if one of the Mormon Wives girls said that to ABC and ABC's like, what? I don't see you. Who? What? Money, dollar signs. I don't know what you're talking about. That would make sense that they would be like, listen, MFers, if you're not paying attention to us on the Zoom call, I'm going to make sure that you pay attention to it when I release it to the world. But Miranda did say, and I'll show you guys the actual comment that she left in this video. She did say, here it is. She goes, haha, the first time I saw that video was on the same day that you all did. None of us girls have ever been in possession of it or any other evidence. My intent with my statement was not to shade Taylor, but to simply address that I do not support nor condone that behavior from either party. Taylor and I have been in a good place, and she has apologized for both the Shania and Chase stuff. I have my theories on who leaked the video, but I can promise you it wasn't any of the women. And then another one of my followers here, Kimberly Bryant, said, I think it's Layla. For some reason, my gut tells me she did it. I've thought about moves she's made in the past, and I can see it. And Layla then responded to her and said, I saw the video when TMZ posted it. I don't know how I would have ever gotten that. Same with Miranda. My intentions with my statement was to share how the situation on both sides is something I don't condone. And then she also said, I felt like she said something else, but I don't know. It's so hard to find comments on the desktop. But that is where they stand. So how many of us just want to guess that it's either Jordan, Jesse's ex, Dakota, or Dakota's roommate? I think one of those three. No one else makes sense to me. Really, no one else makes sense to me. I think Jordan hates mom talk, and Jordan is out for blood with them, especially now going through this divorce with Jesse. I don't think Dakota did it, and that's truly because he could have done it so many times. Why did he choose today or yesterday or Friday? It just feels so random. Billy says to me, I don't think so because she said it wasn't any of the women. But honestly, how are they supposed to know? How does anyone know? It could be one of the women that just did it under the radar and is not sharing that in the group chat. So honestly, really, who knows? Now, we have a restraining order that was just announced by TMZ. Now, I'm a little bit confused about this. This is between Jordan and Jesse, who they just got they just announced their separation, their divorce. And I'm a little confused by this because apparently, let me pull up the article here. Apparently, some people are saying that you get an automatic temporary restraining order when you file for divorce. So it's possible that this is just part of the journey and not its own thing or separate. It says Jesse Draper's estranged husband files for a restraining order. I mean, you guys, I can't help when I see pictures of Jordan. I'm trying really hard not to be mean, but when I see pictures of Jordan, it really sends me. Michaela on TikTok, by the way, one of the Mormon wives, she posted something about Jordan and the comments killed me. I'll pull it up for you guys in a second because it was so freaking funny of everyone's ideas of what Jordan looks like. I don't know why he drives me nuts. I think I don't think Jesse was perfect to him, but I think he's a pretty awful human being. Like a pretty awful human being, in my opinion. It says the drama keeps on coming for the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Jesse Draper's estranged husband, Jordan, wish I could tell you, Nagatakora, has filed for a temporary restraining order, but it looks like Jesse's trying to fight it. According to court docs obtained by TMZ, Jordan filed the TRO request Friday in his pending divorce case with Jesse. She filed her opposition to the TRO the same day. No further details about the nature of the claims in the documents are available. Obviously, they just filed for divorce. There's a lot going on right now behind the scenes in terms of people that know them and that are talking about this, that he has been allegedly spending a shit ton of money on sex work and escorts and partying and this and this and that. He's like living it up. And if you remember, a big part of the last season was this prenup conversation. I'm telling you, he's just such a loser to me. I'm sorry. I really don't like him. And I'm sorry if that offends you guys again. But it's not just women that I struggle with. It's men too. Come on. This was the video that Michaela posted. And it was basically a joke about when Jordan interrupted during the butterfly release moment on the season. And I need you guys to see. I need you guys to see the clips. I mean, the comments here.
So he took me to a spot called the Filthy Ogre.
One time I went to...
What?
Nothing.
It says Jordan trying to hold in the opportunity for dad talk during my butterfly release.
No, say it. It's fine.
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
So he took me to the spot, and it was called the Filthy Ogre.
I was the Filthy Ogre one time.
So we took...
She's basically making fun of the fact that he couldn't stop, but the pictures in the comments. They're pictures, a daily dose of offense. Yes, I love that. They're pictures of like hedgehogs. And the way that I laughed so hard when I saw the pictures in the comments, because I'm like, that's Jordan. It really is Jordan. It cracks me up. Look. Isn't that Jordan? Like, did Jordan take this picture to the hair salon and say, like, do it? Bring it on. And don't make me pull up the video again of Jesse and him doing that underwear ad for Valentine's Day when he comes out of the bathroom with a mohawk and like a tail. He's like Sonic the Hedgehog with like a very small peepee. Just saying. I don't like him. And I like Jessie a lot, and I love her house. And that woman worked for that house. Okay. Let's move forward and talk about a couple other things. Before we do, I have a new sponsor this week that I think you guys are going to absolutely love because it is, if you do laundry, okay? That's all I'm going to say. If you do laundry, you're going to love this one because we're brought to you by Laundry Sauce. And the cool thing about laundry sauce is that it smells like heaven. They sent me a bunch of their pods and dryer sheets, and the smells are so good. I'm going to show you guys the boxes tomorrow because the packaging is even so beautiful. But I like the smell of normal detergent, but sometimes you want to elevate it. Maybe not for your kids, but for us, right? For the moms. It's time for some spring cleaning. And when it comes to the scent of your laundry, it shouldn't smell like the same thing you use to disinfect your bathroom. Enter Laundry Sauce, the premium scented laundry pods that don't just clean your clothes, they elevate them. Say goodbye to that stale, overused detergent scent and hello to luxurious, fine fragrance freshness that lasts. Imagine stepping outside on the perfect spring morning with your clothes smelling like Australian sandalwood, Italian bergamot, or Egyptian rose. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off your entire order, 20% off your entire order by going to laundrysauce.com with promo code Daily Dose. It just made its Target debut, so you can see it in Target too. But if you buy it online, you can get 20% off, and I think you're going to love it. Check out Laundry Sauce. Okay, laundrysauce.com/Daily Dose. I know. I love that video that I just showed you guys because it's like, she's like making out on the side with her laundry. When you guys do laundry, do you get turned on like she does? I've never once hung out in the laundry room with Lance. Like every time I say, oh no, we have to do laundry, I think Lance runs away. He's never come towards me in the laundry room and like rubbed against me. Smell or not smell? It's just funny. Okay. Our next story, where should I go next? I don't want to like go all depressing, but you guys are interested in this Kendra Duggar thing. Let's first start with a little bit of Chappell Roan. Chappell Roan, go the F away. Here's my hot take, okay? Here is Donna's hot take. DHT. It sounds like a drug. Chappell Roan, I don't care how good her music is. We can find better music out there. I like nice people to their fans. Like I'm so done with Chappell Roan. No more Chappell Roan for me. If the song comes on the radio, I'm not going to run to change it. We're not dealing with like a Diddy situation here. But this is truly a situation of a woman who is consistently and you know, every day I feel like there's a new story about Chappell Roan being a bitch to her fans, to paparazzi, to press. Every time she's on a red carpet, she yells at the photographers. What is a red carpet for? If you're going to walk on a step and repeat, those photographers are going to yell your name. Okay? Don't be all Carolyn Bessette here and try to pretend like I didn't ask for this. I'm a private citizen. No. You asked for this when you wanted to become famous. And guess what? Being famous means that you have people that know who you are. It's people that see you and recognize you. And it's little kids that, of course, want to get your autograph or a picture or just even want to walk by you and see you. And that to me is like, it's what celebrities are made of. I'll never forget when I met Paula Abdul at the Rexall. There used to be a place called Rexall in the Beverly Connection in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles area. It was in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. And I met Paula Abdul and her security or whoever she was with had headshots of hers. And I went up to her and I was like, Paula, I am such a big fan of yours. This is like during Straight Up. Straight Up, now tell me, do you really want to love me forever? I was so excited to meet her. I was such a dorky little kid. And she looked at me and she's like, hi, honey. Oh, yes. What's your name? And she signed that picture to Donna. Keep on dancing. And I thought to myself, I guess I should start dancing because I don't. But it stays with me forever. When you meet your heroes, your idols, someone that you like, you want to have that memory just sit in your heart forever so that you can tell all your friends and tell. It's so heartbreaking. They say never meet your heroes. So Chappell Roan she's constantly shitting the bed when it comes to this. And of course, like she's kind of coming back, unless you guys missed the story. It was all over the entire weekend. But basically, So Jude Law has a daughter named Ada, the actor Jude Law. And the mother is Catherine Harding. And basically what happened was over the weekend, last week in Brazil, Chappell Roan apparently made Jude Law's daughter cry because she was having breakfast at a hotel and they were staying at the hotel and she walked by them. And then apparently a security guard went and talked to them and basically pushed them away and, whatever. So now the pop star Chappell Roan is like completely denying it. They're not even my security. I had nothing to do with it. It's not about, she didn't do anything. And I didn't even see a kid. I was just eating my breakfast. Like, don't mess with my breakfast. How about, and then she did like a whole spiel about boundaries, how boundaries are so important. You know what I would have done if I were her? I would have sent a message and I would have said, I am so sorry that this happened. I feel so bad that the security that I didn't even have anything to do with got involved here. And this is so not how I want you to remember me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set up a time to meet with you, have your people contact my people, and let's have a little meet and greet. And then she should have hung out with this Ada girl, just not because Ada deserves a one-on-one with her. It's because she needs to rehab her public image. She should have had a one-on-one with Ada where she could have signed a little pictures and taken some pictures, whatever, and that would change Ada's mind forever. And so many people would say, that was so sweet that she took time out of her busy schedule to do that. But no. She's just, she's the queen of Anne Hathaway's. Calma. Please leave me alone. Please respect my boundaries. And remember that video where she was like, do you see, guys? Do you see what's happening with these fans? Okay. Do you see? This is what it's like when you don't respect my boundaries. Do you see him? Can't stand her. Now, apparently she was in Brazil, obviously, and there was a music event. But the Rio mayor, this is Rio de Janeiro mayor, bans Chappell Roan from the music event after her aggressive incident. Chappell Roan is not wanted in Rio de Janeiro by the city's mayor after Brazilian soccer star Jorginho Frello blasted the singer and her security for allegedly causing a stepdaughter to break down in tears. The mayor posted to X saying, Chappell Roan will never perform at Todo Mundo no Rio. She will never perform at Todo Mundo del Rio. No Rio. It's a free international music event held on Copacabana Beach that's been headlined like major superstars like Madonna and Lady Gaga. And Shakira is headlining in May. And he said, as long as I am in charge of my city, this young lady Chappell Roan will never perform at Todo Mundo no Rio. I doubt Shakira would do that. Good. I like a mayor that cares about his people. I do. Karen Bass would never. Okay, so let's move on and talk about our next story. Let's get into a little bit of Kendra Duggar, okay? Only because it's such a sick, awful story. Okay, so basically, this is wild. So Kendra Duggar was accused of fault. Okay, let me start from the beginning, okay? Kendra Duggar is married to Joe Duggar. Joe Duggar is one of the 475 kids in the Duggar family. And essentially, the oldest one, Josh Duggar, got arrested for child pornography, etc., and he's in jail. And then now Joseph Duggar got arrested a couple days ago, and I told you guys all of that. And he was arrested because he allegedly admitted to a 9-year-old who touching a 9-year-old. And I don't know the details about it. I just know that he admitted to having some physical connection with a 9-year-old on a family vacation back in 2020. And apparently that girl's dad, who's now she's like 13 or whatever, 14. The dad allegedly went to this Joseph Duggar and was like, what the hell happened? And he admitted it and then the next day got arrested. So now Kendra, his wife, this perfect little, remember I showed you guys pictures last week. She's young. She looks like a little, cherub. She looks like a little young girl, sweet, couldn't hurt a fly. Also got arrested for false imprisonment. Let me get the exact charges here. She got arrested for endangering the welfare of a minor in the second degree, 4 counts of it, and 4 counts of false imprisonment in the second degree. So without having 1000% details on what exactly happened, my guess is that they have 4 kids. And if you look at false imprisonment and what that means, and like, because I was thinking, false imprisonment, are they like literally putting people in jail? What is going on? But if you look at false imprisonment, it could be something as general as basically just restraining another person without legal authority. So allegedly, Kendra's 4 kids were being locked up. This is someone that lives in the area. She sent me a DM. Her 4 kids were being locked up. I don't believe it was in the basement, but maybe in their bedrooms. And the key was on the outside. The lock was on the outside. That is why she is getting charged with false imprisonment. And this is all something that they probably found out when they came into the home to do the search warrants or whatever after the husband was arrested. So shockingly, this is something that you hear about with a lot of kids with a lot of parents who are struggling with keeping their kids in their bedroom. I remember when my kids were younger and they were in that age, when they finally get in their toddler bed and they're just trying to get used to staying in their room at night. I remember a lot of advice I would get in those days was put a lock on the outside of their door. Like, make it so they cannot remove themselves from the room. We would do baby gates. We would do it so that, like, if you needed to keep them in or out of a room, you put up a baby gate. To me, that is not false imprisonment, I don't believe, because then they would stop selling baby gates. But allegedly, if you're locking your kid in their room from the outside so that if they come to the door and they scream, "Mommy, mommy," and they can't get out, that is allegedly false imprisonment. That's what I've taken from this, only because there's 4 counts. And since they have 4 kids and there's 4 counts, that's my guess. The other thing that she's arrested for is endangering the welfare of the minor in the second degree, which I don't know if it's 4 counts of that as well. So it probably connects with the kids as well. And what could that be? It could be connected to the locking them in their room. It could be not cleaning them as often as they should, changing their diapers, giving them food, treating them safely. So I don't know specifics, but what a mess. But I have to say something. If I had a kid that came to me and said, "Mommy," or "Mom, I'm in love with a Duggar," I would say, please no. Please no. There's many other, like, please stay away from the Duggars. Do not date a Duggar. Do not marry a Duggar, and do not fall in love with a Duggar. And yes, I know some of the girls, like the Jessas and stuff, like, they seem a little bit better. But still, stay far away from Jim Bob and Michelle's corners, their barndominium or whatever the hell their house was. And I loved that show. I was such a fan of those Duggars. I feel personally hurt by those Duggars turning into monsters because I used to love that show. I used to be so obsessed with their commercial kitchen. Remember when all those girls used to go in there and make chicken nuggets for $500? Where was Mom, by the way? Mom was just pouring out those babies, but did she ever parent? I don't think so. I think Jessa was the mom of all of them, or Ginger, or Joanna, or Johanna, or Jeremiah. They're all J's. That's another thing. It is a little strange to have more than maybe 2 kids, 3 kids, and name them all with the first same letter. Like, once you're after 3 kids, you got to move on. You got to change letters. JJ, 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 JJ. It's too many J's. The last kid was like Jesus Christa. They ran out of names. Such a disgusting story over there. And that Jim Bob. Now we know. And that's interesting too. Okay. Michelle's name is M. She didn't get one kid. She didn't get any M's. It's all J's. Jim Bob. They're trying to say something. They're trying to tell us, like, we're disgusting. But it's all Jim Bob. Jim Bob got it. And with that smile, hey, I'm Jim Bob. Like, Jim Bob is a creep because he has to be. You don't raise 5,000 creeps unless you're a creep yourself, right? This is learned behavior. Something happened in that house. I believe every single one of those kids. Now, it's really interesting if you go back, because I'll never forget when I first watched a Duggar episode, I said, this guy reminds me of the Nutter family. Do you guys remember the Nutter family? Oh, let's take you back in the time machine. Back in the time machine. There was a show on Bravo before Real Housewives called Showbiz Moms and Dads. It was like a 6-episode show. And you can still find it on YouTube, which is the best part about it, because I remember seeing clips of this recently. But if you remember Showbiz Moms and Dads, there was one family, and you know my history working with kids and actors and stuff. And I think a lot of children, actors, parents, not all, I'm going to say not all, are just not as healthy as they could be, because I think a lot of parents of showbiz kids they're trying to live out a dream for themselves. You know what I mean? And this happens with sports too. It's not just showbiz. So in this show, there was a family with like 6 kids in New York City, and they had no money, and they were trying to make it work in New York City, as all of them were actors. The Nutter family. It's very similar to the Duggars. And the dad, I think his name is Jacob Nutter. I'm going to show you a little tribute that someone made for him on YouTube. He was like a Jim Bob. Okay. He had a Jim Bob vibe. Here is Duncan Nutter. This is a Duncan Nutter tribute.
We, along with our 7 children, moved here to New York so that my husband and the family could pursue acting.
This is what Bravo used to be. Like, it was so good.
We gave up a big house, 5 bedrooms with a jacuzzi and lots of land and forest around us to live in a 2-bedroom apartment here in Queens.
At our first year here, we netted about $12,000. Not a penny was saved. I mean, we were trying to hold on to our house in Vermont, and we were on food assistance.
You guys, is that not a Jim Bob? This is Jim Bob in a different font.
And we were on food assistance. Within 1 year, every single one of us had earned some income as a performer. I'm not being crazy when I say I think this is our finest moment.
Cindy and I both work to support our family. Cindy's a teacher in the New York City public school system.
You should have completed both the maps on the front of the page.
Now I'm a ticket taker, and I rip tickets at the producers at the St. James.
He's a ticket taker, and he moved his entire family to New York City. It is a wild, wild show. But there's a reason that Jim Bob decided to put his entire family on TV. Creep. Okay. Let's move on to another story. Kelly Osborne has split with her fiance, and I am not surprised, and I hate to say it just because it feels like this is a shallow reason or whatever, but honestly, I do believe it's because of the fallout, obviously, from Ozzy Osbourne's death, which has led her into, allegedly, the heaviest of heavy depressions, and just so upset and so sad that her reasoning is that's why she has lost tremendous amounts of her weight. Okay, tremendous amounts. And when I say that, you know, you've seen pictures of Kelly Osbourne. It's really, really wild how much weight she's lost. And they were engaged 7 months after he proposed at her late father's final concert. So the last concert that Ozzy Osbourne had, he proposed. And now 7 months later, while she's going through this really, really challenging thing, it's over. So this is the picture of her fiance, Sid, proposing to Kelly. And Kelly looked so much more like Kelly then. Sharon, on the other hand, looks a little bit worse for wear. But Kelly looked so much more normal and healthy. I hate to use the word normal, healthy. And since then, of course, as you know, she's really, this is obviously when she was still looking, I think, pretty healthy. But she then became incredibly, incredibly slim. So this is a picture of them in February at the Grammy Awards. She's a different person. She's literally a different person in some of those, in these newer photos. Now, more about the separation. And I do believe that this happens when you go through a really, really challenging time in your life, like an emotional time. That's when people either leave you or stay with you. Some people can handle it, and some people are strong enough that they can be there for you emotionally when your life is falling apart and you're a mess. And some people can't. I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying tragedy, sickness, all of these things can really throw a relationship out of whack. You hope to be married or find someone that will be there for you when you're in the depths of it. But it's possible that either he was not ready for that or she was not letting him in. Maybe she was so upset, so depressed, or is, that she changed completely and she stopped showing love to him. She didn't know how anymore. Like, there could be a million different reasons. But I just think when you go through something very traumatic, it does throw off your relationships always. So yes, they do have their kid. Later, the child was born, I believe, end of 2022. And she is now, they're basically separated. She's going through a lot. She says she's getting trolled online, being kicked while I'm down. She says, my struggles turned into gossip and being abandoned when I need love and support the most. So when you say when I need love and support the most, I guess you question, is she really saying that she's not getting that love and support, or who knows what? So another possible thing could be Tanya. Yeah, she says, sorry, right there. Or maybe he called her out and she cut him out of her life completely. Absolutely. A lot of times if you're in some sort of active, whether it's addiction or disorder, I mean, she has an eating disorder. I don't think that that's something that I'm saying out of turn. I think it's pretty clear. No one looks like that healthily. I think that's disordered eating. And she says we're gossiping about her. I think people are genuinely concerned for her health. And what kind of a mother can you be when you have no food in your body? But it's possible that her husband or her fiance was like, Kelly, I want you to be healthy. I can't watch you do this. I can't watch you slowly wither away. And she was like, I don't want to hear it. Layla on Mormon Wives, bless her, talked about the fact that she's 99 pounds and she is dieting and she can't stop. And she was struggling with that. And then she ended up going into a treatment center, which is great. But she said something that is so important. She said, I am always tired because I don't have food in me. And food is fuel. And obviously, yes, it's all about what you eat, how much you eat, health, whatever. I'm not a health podcast, but food is fuel. So if you don't have any nutrients in you, and I'm not even talking about nutrients, even calories, you don't have energy. You're a mess. So Kelly, in my opinion, would do better by nourishing her body, because I can only imagine by being depressed and also low energy, you're just a mess. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion. Okay, let's move on to another story. Savannah Guthrie looks like she's coming back to the Today Show as of next month, guys. What do you think about that? I really am trying very hard to have, I should say, well, I have sympathy for Savannah. Like, there's no question. I have 100% sympathy, but it has just been such a wild ride watching the case of Nancy Guthrie, watching the dead ends, the no path, the no suspect. I mean, we're now 2 months out. It's been 50 days and we have not one prime suspect at all. And I just finished listening to this long form podcast about the disappearance of Kristen Smart. Whoa. Have you guys listened to this podcast? It's from 2019. It's called Your Own Backyard. Because I like these long form true crime podcasts. I don't want just a one-off episode. So it's a long form podcast about this woman who was disappeared in, now I can't remember what year, like the end of the 90s maybe, or the beginning of the 2000s, like so long ago. And she was a sophomore or a freshman at Cal Poly. And it was a really, really big story. But what happened was they had years and years and years. I don't want to give it away in case anyone wants to listen to it. But there was years and years and years. And they had a prime suspect the entire time. And they only finally arrested him after so many stories. So it's really crazy. It's really truly a crazy story. And it would be wild to think if the FBI had a person in interest this entire time and they're just not arresting. But we'll have to see. A lot of you guys are asking about JLR. I talked about this on my Patreon last night too. JLR investigates. It's a wild story, and all I can say is he is a live streamer that was one of the major YouTubers. He was covered in the New York Post, etc. He lived basically on Nancy Guthrie's front yard for 45 days or whatever. He just stopped last week or the week before. And he is, unfortunately, I heard about this from a lot of people when I was covering the case. Anytime I mentioned JLR investigates, I would always get people messaging me saying, that is not a good guy. And I was like, oh, well, maybe, blah, blah. This guy's rap, like his record is filled. He is shady, McShady. And most recently, allegedly, he's being accused of beating the crap out of his girlfriend in December and giving her a black eye plus more. So, ain't for me. I am not giving him my listens or my views. There's a lot of other people. Like, I don't think Brian Enton's out there beating people. Okay. Okay. Next story. Anyway, Savannah Guthrie, she released a new message over the weekend saying, search your memories. I mean, that was such a weird way to say it, right? Search your memories. And Lance and I were talking about it, and we both said, if you are in a relationship, I mean, in a situation where you're in a home, in a neighborhood, and this big story happened, how are you not already searching your memories and your footage and your videos? Like, how are you not already... How have you not exhausted all of that? You're telling me there's people out there that still to this day haven't checked their Ring footage from that night? Someone out there knows. But who? Who the hell knows what happened to Nancy Guthrie? It's pretty crazy. And then, yeah, the sheriff is still quiet. He just goes to the gym. I showed you guys all about that last week. Sheriff Nanos is going to the gym, and probably allegedly, according to Zach Peter, Sheriff Nanos is the one that leaked the video of Dakota and Taylor to TMZ to get the heat off of him. And then Justin Timberlake's video got leaked after that to get the heat off of her. I mean, everyone's just going to be releasing videos for the next 3 weeks because we got to keep the heat off. And I don't want to really get into the Justin Timberlake story, but really honestly, how stupid did Justin Timberlake look the night of his arrest? Listen, I have drinks, but I don't think my drinks caused me to become brain dead. It was the wildest story. Oh, okay. OC Girls says if you want to see what he did to his girlfriend, go watch Gavin Fish. I love Gavin. Gavin is the person that was on my show when we were covering the Ellen Greenberg case. And I guess he's talking about JLR. So yes, let's go over there. Justin Timberlake. So what do you do? I have a tour. What's your tour? The world tour. It's like what do you do in this tour? I'm Justin Timberlake. I'm like, do you really not know how to speak for yourself about what you do? How can you not share proudly, I'm an entertainer, I'm a singer, I'm a performer, I am an artist. I'm a Grammy-winning artist. It was the wildest thing. And then Esty Stanley coming out of nowhere. How embarrassing for her. These entitled effers, right? Esty Stanley, she's like Esty Stanley is a pretty known woman in the like styling and interior design world here in Los Angeles. She follows me, so I'm trying to be like a little bit kind here, but she owns a if you're here in LA, she also owns a store called Gone Bananas Bread. It's on San Vicente in Brentwood, and it's a banana bread. Actually, it looks really good. It's very cute. It's banana bread in cute little packaging with cute little logos and celebrities talking about it and stuff. So she has this business, and then she also has a styling business. But she is, let me try to see if I can find a quick picture of her. This is her. This is Esty. And she is besties with Jessica Biel, apparently, and friends with Justin Timberlake. And I have no idea why she was out there with Justin Timberlake that night and not Jessica Biel. Like, I'm confused on that. But during the video, she comes in there and she's screaming, "You can't do this. Okay, you can't do this. Well, how am I supposed to? Sexy back." Let me see if I can find the video of her screaming at the cop. It's so embarrassing to watch because it feels it feels like it's everything you would never want to come out. Let me see if I can find the video really fast. I wonder if they found a way to get it to go away. Here. I know Popcorn Planet posted a bunch of it. This is when he had to do his stand on two toes thing.
Guys, I'm just following my friends back to my house. I'm not doing anything. I'm just following my friends back to my house.
Will you do these tests?
Sure.
Okay. While holding this position, count aloud 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, and so on until you get to stop.
Sorry,
when you do this test,
sorry, my heart is racing.
When you do this test, keep your eyes on your raised foot. Count aloud by 1,000s.
1,000.
No.
Right. By the way, these are really hard tests.
All right, just turn around for me, please. All right, I'll take you right on.
Arresting.
Here she is.
Yeah, stop it.
Yes.
Why?
He was driving drunk.
He wasn't.
He failed every single one of our questions.
What do you mean?
So at this point, so listen, this is a private matter with us and him. Okay, I can't really talk about it too much.
Okay,
He's coming with us today, but it will remain in my possession.
But should I ask him if he wants it or if he wants me to keep it?
Why are they blurring her?
You can't talk to him.
There has to be a moment of talking.
No, not anymore.
Please help me.
Not anymore.
Hold on.
Okay.
So
Hold on.
this is the registration of the vehicle. Just make sure it stays with the vehicle, okay?
I have his phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you guys please just do me a favor because you loved bye or
I'm happy.
sexy back?
So-
do me one favor. Let me ask him if he wants me to give him his phone.
Yeah. I mean,
This is insane.
So it's not going to be a long thing. I'll let you walk up real quick.
Please. This is insane. I have your phone. Do you want it? They're going to take it when you go in, or do you want me to keep it?
We'll give it to you when you're out. Do you want it in your possession or
Who
not?
should I call? What do I do? Tell me what to do quick. I don't even.
I don't know.
This is insane.
For now,
He's trashed.
Mr. Timberlake, do you want us to have your phone or not?
They won't let you out. I did everything. They won't let you out. I'm like, let me out. You guys, come on.
No,
I don't know.
Just
Guys,
let me drive him
No,
home.
Mr. Timberlake, do you want your phone?
It's so embarrassing because in this world, when we have so many people getting in trouble for things, the fact that you just think I'm a celebrity, like, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. She's like, it's wild. Just let me drive him home. What? Can you imagine he's out there like he's, God forbid, injuring someone, hitting him, like hitting a pole and injuring himself. And she's like, it's not a big deal. You like sexy back? It's wild, wild choices. But that's what entitlement does. Like, that's honestly what happens when you're a celebrity and you get everything you've ever wanted, is that when you get in trouble, you really believe it's not going to actually happen. I am a celebrity. Anyway, they were trying to block it from being released, obviously, and it still got released because the judge was like, no, the public has a right to see it, which is also so strange, but it's okay. I think the fact that he was trying to block it made him even look worse. At this point, you just take accountability. I was a freaking idiot. I was an idiot and I shouldn't have done any of it. He's not saying anything rude. He's not acting erratic. He is not acting. He's not being racist. He's not being derogatory. He's not being awful. He's just being dumb. He just looks dumb. He's speaking so slowly. He has no idea which way is up. He doesn't, like, it's so strange. He has no idea what is going on. Is that alcohol? Because I don't remember ever. I mean, if he's that drunk that he has no idea what he's doing, then he really shouldn't have. I don't wonder if we have, I don't know if we actually have his BAC, his blood alcohol content. I'm not sure if we do or not. But yeah, Reese Witherspoon. Jay says Reese Witherspoon's arrest was funny back in the day. And I've said that had he just released it publicly, we would have just all moved on and been cool with it. The difference is that he's like fighting it, and he looks so ridiculous. But Reese Witherspoon, could she have like bigger career now? Morning show, her book club, all of her projects, Hello Sunshine. Like, that girl's doing great. And she said, don't you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Okay, finally, Melissa, is Donna extra funny today or is it just me? I think it's just you. I'm not funny. Very serious. We're going to move on and talk about Kelsey Fitzsimmons as I wrap up today. So, guys, get ready for my new obsession, my new trial obsession. Obviously, last year it was Karen Reed. We're getting into the Kelsey Fitzsimmons trial. I brought that up to you guys. Her story, I brought it up to you a few weeks ago. I want to say, I can't remember what day that was and what week that was, but I gave you guys a little bit of a rundown of what the story is about. But trial started today. So Kelsey Fitzsimmons is, okay, let me try to get all of as much details as I can. She was a police officer for North Andover for Massachusetts, right? And she had a baby, a little baby with another man, Alien. Justin Alien is his last name. I know it sounds like Alien, but it's Aylayin or something like that. So yes, Jewel, we're back in the Boston area for you. We're back in Massachusetts. Okay, so with this case, so she has this little baby. And this is last year in 2025. She had been struggling with her mental health. This is from what I know. She was struggling with her mental health and she struggled with postpartum. Now, she is a sheriff. She is a cop. She's an officer. So the doctor, as far as I know, the doctor, she was going through situations where she was threatening to harm herself, et cetera, and she was breaking up with her ex, and he served her a restraining order. He didn't personally. He is also a firefighter in the same city, and he had 3 cops come to her house in June to serve her restraining order. And there's video of this. A ton of video got released today, and I'll share it with you guys. They wanted to remove the child. The restraining order was to remove the child, the baby, from her care because of safety reasons, and weapons that she had because she owned guns or one gun. I can't remember because she is a sheriff. So she is feeling awful. Obviously, she struggles with her mental health. She has a 4-month postpartum baby. And now this baby is getting taken away and given to the man who's serving her the restraining order that basically says you're not allowed to be near me. You're not allowed to have the baby, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Really, really horrible. So she's feeling awful, devastated. She gives the baby to one of the police officers. I'll show you the video. He then is holding the baby, and then her mom shows up, as well as her ex Justin and Justin's sister Courtney. Justin's sister Courtney is then given the baby, and she leaves the property. This is all from surveillance, like from her ring cam footage. She leaves the property, and then he asks the police officers who are still in the house, can I go downstairs into the basement to get some stuff of mine? A suitcase, a this, a that. Meanwhile, at this point, she now is upstairs in her bedroom, and I can't remember exactly what's happening, but apparently the police were there because they said they heard it was a volatile situation and we need to remove the weapons. So she said the weapons were downstairs in the basement. I have to get specifics on the weapon part, and that's what I'm learning today because the deposition, I'll share it in just a second. She goes upstairs into her bedroom. One other officer, Noonan, goes upstairs, small little stairway to her bedroom, small bedroom. We saw photos of it today. And allegedly, he, from the other police, says that he said, no, don't do it. Now, allegedly, she took, trigger warning, she had a gun in hand and she pointed it. Her story is that she pointed it to end her own life. She said, there is no other reason for me to live. Like, I am done. I want to die. And that even a police officer said today on the stand, that she said that I want to die. So allegedly, she put the gun towards herself. It didn't go off. I don't know if it was out of bullets or it just didn't go off because the officer, Noonan, shot her. Now, his thought is it's self-defense. She has a gun, but she was not holding the gun in a way of like pointing towards you. She was holding it towards herself. So then she ends up going down. They end up taking her to the hospital, and then she ends up, after, a little bit of healing, she ends up being put in jail. And then she got released from jail, and jail because of assault with a deadly weapon or something like that. She comes out of jail, and part of her reasoning or part of her way to not be in jail is that she has to blow a breathalyzer every single day, even though alcohol is not even part of the story. But she can't because she got shot in her chest ribs area. So to blow the breathalyzer, you have to blow really, really hard. And she couldn't do it. So the judge at the time, it was a woman, sent her back to jail. Okay. She's back in jail now for months, basically. And then she finally gets out. She has no access to her baby. They finally worked in a way that they could get a new judge. So they excused that last judge, and now they have a great judge. I think he's great from what I was watching today. He seems like a really good dude, and he seems fair. And she is now on trial. And it's basically the Commonwealth versus Kelsey Fitzsimmons. And she is defending herself. She's not defending herself. She has a lawyer, Bradel, who's also Aiden Carney, Turtle Boy's lawyer. And she is defending herself against the Commonwealth, who wants to basically put it all on her. As what are the actual charges against Kelsey right now? What are the official charges? The official charges against Kelsey Fitzsimmons: assault, 1 count of assault with a dangerous weapon. That's the official charge. Authorities allege that she pulled a firearm and pointed it at a fellow police officer and pulled the trigger during the confrontation. But she's pleading not guilty. She says, I did not point the gun at the officers. I was in a mental health crisis. I had PPD, postpartum depression, and I pointed the weapon at myself. Now, earlier in the case, prosecutors tried to say she was was charged with armed assault with intent to murder, but a grand jury ultimately reduced it to just one charge. It's not a murder case. It's about intent. Did she point the gun at the police, or was this a mental health crisis / self-harm situation? It's actually a really awful, sad story, because if you think about just a mom that just had a baby and was going through all of these things, and then the baby is getting taken away from her boyfriend, who is serving her with a restraining order, plus she's losing her job, plus A, B, C, D, all these things, you can see how someone would do something as awful as end their own life in these cases. And instead, she's on trial. So here's the footage that got released from today. I'm going to try to walk you through it. It's from TikTok. Someone posted it on TikTok, but they talked about it today in the first day of the trial. It's going to put it on mute because it's just music. So what you're seeing, and by the way, if you watch it, if you're listening, it's going to be kind of hard for you to understand. But if you're watching it, I think you'll understand. So this is a Ring camera of her front entrance. And this is at 5:02 p.m. on June 30th. So this is after she's come home. She was supposed to meet the ex at like a park or something for the baby. But then she came home because he didn't come to the meeting place. And you guys tell me in the comments if I'm getting this completely wrong. The cop there, they come in, and the cop is then holding the baby to kind of calm the baby down because the other cops are serving her with the restraining order. Now, mom comes to the house. So I don't know let me see if I can make this bigger. Yeah. Is that better for you guys? Can you see that? Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. So mom has now come to the house. The police officer gives the baby to mom. It's now 5:03. She goes in there to kind of check in on Kelsey and make sure everything's okay. Remember, at this point, Kelsey's fine still. Now it's 5:04, 1 minute later, and the guy walking up in the red shirt and the girl is her ex, Justin, and his sister, Courtney. This to me upsets me, and I'll tell you why. She just got a restraining order from him. She's not a fan of his, obviously. And instead, they're going to now do something which is going to trigger her even 10 times worse. She's already so devastated. Apparently, she was crying. She was freaking out in the other room because they're taking her baby away from her. And instead of saying, we will take the baby and give it to the mom, and maybe mom will pass it over to Justin later, they're like, yeah, come on in, Justin, into the home. And with Courtney, your sister, which is going to trigger any mom even more now because she just got served a restraining order from him. She's losing her baby because of him. So this is the sister now walking out with the baby. He's also walking out with some of the baby gear, diapers, etc. Okay. The time on this is still now it's 5:06. This is all happening within minutes. Now it's 5:07. He walks back. He's walking back into the stairs, and he says something along the lines of, I just need to get some stuff downstairs. She has my suitcase, and some of my stuff is in this house in the basement. Allegedly where the gun was anyway, by the way. So now here's footage. Like, why didn't Nancy Guthrie have this kind of footage, by the way? Now it's 5:07:45. He's walking down into the basement. With the flashlight, he's going through the room. He's gathering some stuff. Meanwhile, she's being basically not restrained, but she's being told in the other room that her baby is taken away from her. And her ex is just walking through her house. Okay, so he's getting a suitcase. Then he sees something else in this moment. It's a little bit of just dead time, but it's 5:08 now, 5:08:30. And right then, as he's grabbing stuff and starting to walk away, you can tell that he hears a gun. He runs. He hears someone shooting upstairs, and he runs out the other way. Now it's 5:08:48. It's going to switch camera angles and it's going to go to, so that's him opening the door from downstairs. Now we're back in the front area. This is the front of the house, and you can see him exactly when he ran out. This is him running away. He just heard gunfire in his baby mama's home, and instead of being like, what is going on? He runs away. This is him running away, falling on his ass. Karma. And that's the mom who's downstairs. She's been downstairs, I imagine. This happened, by the way, upstairs in her bedroom. And the mom is standing there freaking out, like, what's going on? And she's looking outside, like, what's happening? And she's losing her mind. She's probably freaking out. She has no idea what's happening. She's crying. It's 5:09. I mean, you guys, this all happened within 5 minutes. Now another cop is running out, I imagine, to maybe get help. There's a little bit of, I think a little bit of dead time here. It's 5:09:45. So you can see right now upstairs, Kelsey's shot in the chest and she's laying on the floor. And I don't know where the police officer is that shot her. I don't know if he's up there or what, but now more people are coming in. I guess he went to the car to get his, medical stuff. Then a minute later, a couple minutes later, 5:12 now, we have backup. We have other police coming in. Mom is freaking out, I imagine. My daughter has just been shot. And the fire department or EMT comes in. It's only 5:13. I mean, this is happening within just the first few minutes. And then people are coming in to, stabilize her. Then this is them pulling her body. They're pulling her body out and they put her on a stretcher and then she ends up going to the hospital right then. Okay, so why is this so incredibly just depressing? It's because I think women in general understand like the lengths moms go to protect their kids and to be there for their kids. And postpartum and all of that is an awful, awful thing. And I can understand personally after hearing so many awful stories like Andrea Yates and stuff, like I can see why you would be nervous about having a child around someone who's mentally not stable. Right? I can see that. But it's the way that they handled this entire process. To have a restraining order and then have the guy that gave you the restraining order come into the house and take the baby directly from you. Have your coworkers, you're an officer, a coworker shoot you. And instead of just handling everything and securing the weapons right when you walk in, instead of dealing with the baby and let's talk about the baby and let's pass off the baby, it's like, I need to see your weapons right now, Kelsey. They did so many things. And so Laura, I will give you a little bit more. So who got hurt? She got hurt. She was shot by another officer. She was an officer, by the way. So these are her coworkers. She was shot by a former coworker who worked in the same department, who shot her because he says that he was convinced she was going to shoot him. But she's saying, I was shooting myself. Like I was that depressed and that much of a mess. You were taking my life away from me. You took my kid away from me. You took my job. Like my job is gone. My dignity, my relationship, everything is gone. And she was suffering from postpartum. So she was literally trying to end her own life and got shot instead. And then since then has been in and out of jail. And now she's on trial for an assault with a deadly weapon. It's really sad. And she doesn't have relationships with her. She can't see her kid. She's not with her kid. Then Christina, thank you. While she was in the hospital, and this is what I showed you guys a couple weeks ago, while she was in the hospital, that jerk off, Justin, alien, the guy that ran away when he heard a gunshot, he broke back into her house 2 days later when she was in the hospital with a couple buddies to go through all her stuff and to tamper with evidence. For example, in her kitchen on the fridge was a piece of paper that was a letter that Justin hand wrote to Kelsey saying, I love you. You're such an amazing mom. He went into that house 2 days after she was shot and in the hospital before, it was a crime scene. And he removed that letter. He removed proof that he said, you're an amazing mother. He was doing everything in his power to basically end her opportunity to ever be a mother in this case. It's a horrible, awful story. And so today was the first day of trial. Now, I'll just share with you guys a little bit. It's long and I'm just in the middle of testimony. I'm listening with Melanie Little. But just so you guys kind of get an idea, this is our judge, Judge Jeffrey Karp. He's very good. I like him so far. I don't know about you guys. And this is the Commonwealth attorney, James Gubatos. He's not great from what I heard. This is Tim Bradle. This is the defense. Here's a little piece of the defense. Let me make it slower. I listen to everything really fast.
She goes upstairs to pack the bag, Your Honor. Officers Houston and Noonan accompany her upstairs. She keeps several times. She gives them items to have them go back downstairs with. She hands them baby seats and clothes and books and thereabouts.
So this is what happened that day. She went upstairs. She's handing off baby items for the cops to give.
And says, take these downstairs, please. You'll see that evidence. And as a fact finder, you will see that that's evidence of her state of mind, that she has no desire to harm any of her colleagues and friends. She's got no motive. She's got no reason to. And her actions are completely inconsistent with that. She's trying to get rid of them so she can have a minute in her room, not to do things that every young mother might want to do, but to get her gun and kill herself because her life's over in her mind. So at that point, Your Honor, her apparently what was later learned to be her mom comes in the house, and she's understandably upset. She's saying, how can you take away a baby from their mother?
Breastfeeding baby.
That's when Houston goes downstairs. So part one is accomplished, that Houston is downstairs. Houston's a friend. Houston was invited to her wedding. He goes downstairs. Noonan is still upstairs on the landing. You'll see from all the visual evidence.
Houston is one of the police officers there that was a friend and was at her wedding. Noonan is not a friend, and he's the one with her still in this tragic, like heightened, stressful time.
It's a stairway that goes up a small landing. Kelsey's bedroom's on the right, the baby's room's on the left. It's a pretty simple layout. Noonan stays up there. At this point, Kelsey makes it from the baby's room where she got some stuff across the landing to her bedroom, and she's in her bedroom when the I don't say disturbance, but when Mrs. Page, her mom, gets here. What we later learn is that she gets here, and Houston goes downstairs. Noonan, in a moment after Houston went downstairs, Noonan starts to go downstairs, and that was Kelsey's moment. Why? Because she wanted to do this herself, and she didn't want to involve Noonan. I told you about Houston. Noonan, she had been on extremely difficult calls with. She considered him a friend. She knew he had a wife and a child. Zero motive, the evidence will show, for her to ever want to harm this gentleman. She's alone in the room. Noonan's down the stairs. She reaches into the corner and picks up one of her handguns. She'll tell you that she is acutely aware as a police officer that she doesn't want them involved. She doesn't want them to be a part of this in any way. She keeps the gun close to her stomach area and walks over to an open spot in the room.
She will tell you. That indicates that she will be testifying.
She raises the gun to her head. Noonan is not even back in the room yet, Your Honor.
Oh.
So I don't want you as the fact finder to be looking for evidence that, well, maybe she swung it in his direction when he was coming in. Maybe she was pointing it at him in some...
The police officer that shot her wasn't even in the room when she brought the gun to her head.
at some quick transient time. That's not the case at all, Your Honor. That will not be the evidence. The evidence will be that Ms. Fitzimmons had the gun to her temple, and then Noonan walks in, and he sees someone who is exhibiting only harm to herself and to no other. And we discussed this pre-trial, and there'll be some evidence and discussion and cross-examination, Your Honor, about the Code of Mass Regulations that we discussed as it relates to, or doesn't relate to, Noonan's state of mind, Your Honor, that he's, as a firearms instructor and a SWAT team member and a former Lawrence police officer, as well as North Andover, he knew or should have known that he was in trouble, that he was in violation of that CMR, the Code of Mass Regulation that I just mentioned. And he knows he has to adjust the narrative, Your Honor. Getting back to the incident, Your Honor, Kelsey has the gun to her head. She's trying to steal herself. Noonan comes around the corner and sees it, and the evidence will show that he is not some super cool James Bond type law enforcement officer, that he has a look of panic on his face, and that he's flustered. And certainly no one's faulting him for that. But that's what he looked like, and that's what the evidence will show. And that's when the words, Kelsey, no, are uttered. No law enforcement officer, Judge, the evidence will show, in his right mind would bargain with someone who has their hand on the trigger and the muzzle in your face.
So this is what they're arguing. The first person that they bring up is one of the police officers, Sean Daly, who was in the house. He was one of those guys that was in the house, obviously not the person. And tomorrow I'll recap what happened today. I just wanted you guys to have a chance to look at Kelsey, just so you guys have a visual. This is Kelsey.
What that is? Same room. This is a different angle? Yep.
So she's had an incredibly awful year. But I will be watching this trial because it's got a couple of the things that I am obsessed with. It's got Massachusetts and the corruption over there. And it's a story about a mom. I mean, it's like, it's so devastating. It's just devastating. You don't know, like hormones really can F you up big time, big time. Okay, so we'll be I'll keep you guys up to date on that trial so you don't have to sit all day and watch court TV like I do. And we'll talk about everything more. Whoa, this is a long, long, long episode. I adore you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Daily Dose of Donna. I appreciate you. Bye.